will the residue of President Obama's scolding of Black men in Kamala Harris's run doom Jasmine Crockett's campaign before it starts?
On the other side, you have someone who has consistently shown disregard, not just for the communities, but for you as a person. And you're thinking about sitting out? But, you know, Cousin Pookie might be. And you're coming up with all kinds of reasons and excuses. I got a problem with that. Because part of it makes me think, and I'm speaking to men directly, part of it makes me think that, well, you just aren't feeling the idea of having a woman as president. And you're coming up with other alternatives and other reasons for that.
Is it still there? Is it still something that Black men voters are thinking about? Or is the problem that Democrats are rushing another woman of color into a national spotlight too soon?
Recently, you decided to throw your hat in the ring for the United States Senate. There are elders, some of our elders who said it's too soon. Don't do it. Read some literature on the topic. Are you sure? Like, for people who are like, it's too soon, what do you say to that? Why now?
Yeah, so it's hard to define what too soon looks like when you're talking to someone like me. Because for some people, the time would never arrive, especially as a Black woman in this country. I mean, we know that, yes, Texas has never done it. We know that it's only been done a handful of times. I mean, just think about how recent our history is. I mean, the very first Black woman to ever swear into the U.S. Senate is still alive, right? We're not talking about like back in the day history. We know that only the second Black woman to swear into the U.S. Senate was our beloved Vice President Kamala Harris. And we know that we ended up having our third be appointed to the Senate. And then we know that we now, for the first time in the history of the United States, we have two that are serving at the same time. So we've only had 5 Black women. But I think that this is bigger than race or sex. While there may be history that is taking place, I've never done anything seeking history. I've done things seeking justice, and I've done things seeking change. And so part of me was starting to feel like, what really is my purpose in the House in this moment?
Running for political office is never just about talent. It's never just about qualification. Running for political office is always about strategy, timing, what activates your voters to vote for you, and what activates voters from the other side to vote against you. I started to think about these questions after I heard Bakari Sellers on the Native Land podcast talk about the pros and cons of a Jasmine Crockett run. Here's one very interesting perspective he mentioned.
And one of the things that Jasmine Crockett has, and I think we take for granted because we live in this media bubble, but this is an opportunity for her. Like, on the internet, Jasmine Crockett probably has 100% name ID, but throughout Texas, her name ID probably doesn't crack 1/3, right? And that is the type of growth and a runway that I think that she can, I mean, because me and Angela were talking about this the other day. People don't even, and Tiffany, we talked about it at separate times, people don't even know her resume. I mean, they don't know how brilliant she is. They don't know that she went to law school. They don't know where she went to law school. You know, they don't know how she had to be this much better than everybody else to get to where she is. So she literally has an opportunity to introduce herself to voters.
To me, that is a very scary statistic, especially considering the squabbles that Crockett has been in with President Trump and others from that MAGA base side of the Republican Party. On a strategy level, we've learned in politics that having a national spotlight in a local race isn't always the best thing. I mean, look at what happened to Stacey Abrams. Look at what she did in mobilizing the Black vote in America, but still came up short in Georgia. Why she came up short, how she came up short, we can debate that. But one of the things that we need to strongly consider is, will Crockett venture into a similar fate as Abrams, because she has just as much national notoriety and publicity as Abrams, but doesn't have as much on the ground notoriety, publicity, or support in Texas as Abrams had in Georgia. And we must ask ourselves if the Democrats have learned from the Harris laws. The Harris laws wasn't even the worst part that they need to learn from. I think the book that came after the loss was the worst part. And did VP Harris's perceived selfishness and what many are calling an editorial temper tantrum create a stereotype that Black women candidates are very good and very qualified to clap back, but are not qualified to be elected?
And Jasmine Crockett. Oh, Jasmine Crockett. The record speaks for itself. She wants to be a senator, though her street girl persona is about as real as her nails.
Oh, gotta talk about Jasmine Crockett. Was Jasmine Crockett the one that's been calling your wife a Jeep online? Is she the one with the racist memes against? Oh, no, that's some of the people in the crowd, actually, that you want to vote for you. That's weird that you're talking about Jasmine Crockett instead. But there was a point to it. She's a street girl. She's got a street girl persona, and you know women like that with their fake nails. Isn't it ridiculous, the stupid nails they have? None of the women who are going to come on stage here have anything fake. Definitely. They're all super authentic, no filter necessary, but her, women like her with their fake nails. And that's just what he's doing right now.
And just for the record, JD Vance, my nails are actually real. Just so you know. And I have never tried to have a street girl persona, but I will tell you that I am Texas in every way. And as they say in Texas, don't mess with Texas. So when you come for me, I absolutely will respond, right? Especially if I didn't send for you. But like, let's talk about the record. Like I said before, I'm like, JD Vance, the only reason you were standing there as the vice president is because the president tried to have his last vice president executed. Like, that's the only reason. Like, I mean, there is no other reason. And this kind of goes back to, I will tell you, because you brought up this point about people saying, wait your turn. JD Vance is like my age or younger. When it came down to Barack Hussein Obama, I'm pretty sure a lot of people told him to wait his turn too. And he was a 44-year-old junior senator out of Illinois. I am a 44-year-old grown ass woman who not only has served on the state level, who has not only served on the federal level, but even before that was serving the people in the streets. I've served on boards, whether it was a mental health board. I've served as the president of various organizations, whether they're legal organizations or otherwise. I actually was the youngest Black person to ever be elected a county Democratic Party chair, and that was in East Texas, not urban Texas. That was in rural Texas, where I was the elected party chair who was always behind the scenes, making sure that I could help other candidates win elections. I then came to Dallas and was behind the scenes and helped Dallas County to have more African Americans on the bench than any other county in the entire country. So, like, let me tell you, I have put in my work because I believe in the work. I believe in real good public servants. I have traveled this country as a national co-chair for Vice President Harris. Prior to that, I was one of the top requested surrogates for Joe Biden, going around this entire country. I went to California to make sure that I could do my part for Prop 50. I went into Pennsylvania and make sure that they could retain their judges. I went into Virginia to make sure that I could assist Abigail Spanberger. Let me tell you something. For everybody that wants to pretend as if I'm not a team player, check the record. I have gathered up well over 3 million miles traveling this country on behalf of democracy. Again, if someone else had better numbers, which no one else has released those numbers, then I wouldn't be running for the U.S. Senate right now.
So question, how do Jasmine Crockett and her team run a strong campaign with all of this in mind? And another question is, does she even need to care about it?